Okay, so today we're taking a deep dive into the future of the BBC.
Mm-hmm.
And we've got some really interesting stuff to cover from some recent news articles about some changes coming up that might make you wonder if you're actually overpaying for your favorite shows.
Ooh, that's a good question to start with.
So first up, buckle up, because your TV license is about to cost you a little bit more.
Right.
We're talking an increase to £174.50.
Wow.
For a color TV license.
Okay.
And for those of you rocking a black and white telly,
I don't know if there's many of those left out there.
You'll be paying £58.50.
Okay.
So it's not an insignificant jump.
Yeah.
It's almost 3%.
So why the price hike?
Yeah, so the BBC is facing some pretty significant financial challenges at the moment.
Okay.
Costs are going up, and viewership, particularly among younger audiences, is declining as people are moving away from traditional TV and towards streaming services.
Makes sense.
So this move to increase the license fee is the government's attempt to stabilize the BBC's finances.
So are they trying to keep the BBC afloat until they come up with a different funding model?
Well, the current system with the TV license is set to remain in place until 2027.
Okay.
But after that, it's anyone's guess what might happen.
Right.
There's talk of all sorts of options.
Okay.
The Culture Secretary, Lisa Nandy, has been quoted as saying that all options are on the table.
I wonder what some of those options are.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to see what they come up with.
It will.
But for now, one thing that's happening is an expansion of the Simple Payment Plan.
Oh, yeah, the SPP?
Exactly, which is designed to help those people who find the cost of the license fee to be a bit burdensome.
That's a good idea.
So the SPP basically lets you pay for your TV license in installments throughout the year.
Yeah, so it's like a subscription model for your license.
Yeah, and they're expanding it so that potentially thousands more households will be able to take advantage of it each month.
That's great.
This increase to the license fee also comes after a 2-year freeze implemented by the previous government.
Oh, right.
So this price hike is kind of like playing catch-up.
Yeah, it's like putting off going to the dentist. You can only do it for so long.
Exactly.
Before you have to bite the bullet.
So speaking of licenses, let's clear up some confusion, because I know I used to be totally confused about when you actually need a TV license in the UK.
It's not always clear.
It really isn't.
Especially these days.
So the key thing to remember is live content.
Right.
If you're watching or recording anything live, whether it's on the BBC, ITV, or even streaming services, you need a license.
So if I'm watching a football match on Amazon Prime,
you need a license.
Okay, got it.
But if you're catching up on your favorite Netflix shows, you're in the clear.
Got it.
So it all comes down to live versus on demand.
That's the distinction.
Oh, that's the dividing line.
So we've covered the cost increase and what requires a license, but this expansion of the Simple Payment Plan feels a bit like a temporary fix.
Yeah. Is it really sustainable in the long run?
Well, it does raise a bigger question about the TV licensing model itself.
Right.
Is it actually outdated in this age of streaming?
Yeah.
Some argue for a subscription model.
Right, like Netflix.
Exactly.
Yeah.
While others propose government funding.
Okay.
Or even advertising.
Yeah, it's a tough one.
Each model has its own advantages and disadvantages.
Right. Well, with the subscription model, it feels like more of a choice.
Right.
But it could exclude those who can't afford it.
Yeah, that's true.
And with government funding, you ensure everyone has access, but it might open the BBC up to
political influence.
Political influence, exactly.
And nobody really likes commercials, do they?
No, I don't think so.
It's a tricky situation.
So what does this all mean for our listeners?
Well, for starters,
Yeah.
Your wallets might feel a bit lighter come next April.
And you might want to double check?
Yes.
That you're on the right side of the law when it comes to the licensing rules?
It's always good to be sure.
But perhaps more importantly, this situation with the BBC raises some big questions for all of us about the future of public broadcasting.
Yes, absolutely.
In the age of streaming, is the TV licensing model still relevant? What are the alternatives? What kind of future do we want for the BBC?
These are questions worth thinking about.
These are questions worth thinking about indeed.
The future of the BBC is ultimately in the hands of the public.
That's right. So we would love to hear your thoughts.
Yes.
What do you think is the best way forward for the BBC?
Jump into the conversation online and let us know.
Let's discuss the future of the BBC together.
Yes.
That's it for this deep dive.
Thanks for listening, everyone.
Until next time.
See you then.